Hello, I'm Matteo, and this is the Tech Travel Geek's full long-term review of the POCO M3, an affordable smartphone from Xiaomi, which punches well above its weight in many ways. Just for a bit of context, this is a long-term review of a device that I have been using for about a year as a secondary device, but in the last few weeks, just because of necessity, has had my main SIM card in it. The POCO M3 is an affordable smartphone which was originally priced around about £130 sterling. Now, that price has gone down a little if you purchase it from AliExpress, but it's still holding its value and holding its price just because of how good it is and the fact that it is still relevant today. The POCO M3 is a basic smartphone from Xiaomi, similar to what we've seen in Redmi devices and other affordable Xiaomi devices. One of the key things that disappointed me at launch was I couldn't get a yellow one. I had to settle for the blue one. But as you saw in a previous video from the Tech Travel Geeks, I did manage to get my hands on a yellow case, and that makes the device slightly bulkier but much safer. Another really important thing to bear in mind is that the POCO M3 has a fingerprint scanner which is side mounted. That means that you don't need to take a face mask off if wanting to unlock it quickly. It's a really useful feature. I wish more expensive devices made sure they had that. I'm looking at you, Apple. The POCO M3's screen is a 6.53-inch one with full HD plus resolution. So it is a 19.5:9 Full HD Plus display. That means it's 1080p by 2340. It's really good for not only watching content on it, but also for browsing the web and social media. The overall settings by default for MIUI for POCO are really good. The color reproduction is particularly good, and overall, whether you're editing your pictures, watching video, typing on the screen, it's very responsive. I've had no issues whatsoever with it. And another little bonus is that the POCO M3 comes with a screen protector on it as it comes out of the box, and that's been on it for a year and I've had no issues with it. Just a word of warning, that lovely screen is potentially scratchable. It's not the best hardened glass out there, so make sure you have a screen protector on it and you look after it if you do decide to buy one. The POCO M3 runs on a Qualcomm chipset. That's a Snapdragon 662 chipset, paired with 4GB of RAM. It's not the fastest smartphone out there, but in its price category, it is a lot more than you'd get, usually, from Xiaomi similar brands, or even competing brands like Nokia. To give you a bit of context, the Nokia 3.4 has a Snapdragon 4 series chipset and is still priced slightly higher than this. So you're getting a lot of bang for buck in terms of the raw numbers in the chipset, but that also translates into performance. I have to say, in the period I was using this as a secondary device, it's really good for mobile gaming. So not only Call of Duty in medium settings, but things like Mobile Legends play very well on this device. So if you're limited in how much pocket money you have, but you want a decent smartphone with amazing battery life and decent performance when playing demanding games, that Snapdragon 662 chipset in the POCO M3 is an excellent offering. The POCO M3, as I said, delivers really good performance. You get that Snapdragon chipset, plenty of memory, as in 4GB of RAM, and storage. And not only that, it comes with a 6000 mAh battery. That is way above what other smartphones in the category offer, usually between 4 and 5000 mAh. And in terms of battery life, and that's what I needed it for, lots of phone calls and text messages and web browsing whilst handling a property sale, this device really punched above its weight. I was able to go through a day of heavy smartphone use, also whilst driving, and it performed great. And even though you have that big battery, that 6000 mAh battery, there's one key thing missing in terms of the specification sheet. It doesn't have NFC, so you won't be able to use this device to make mobile payments or use it for public transit or quick pairing with other devices. Sadly, no NFC makes it an issue for those of you who do use contactless for payments and public transit. So bear that in mind. The POCO M3 does not have NFC as it is. But if that's not important to you, the excellent battery life, the decent overall performance, and MIUI for POCO are a really good overall package. Xiaomi's UI setup is what we've seen on other devices from Xiaomi and Redmi branded ones, though this is a little tweaked for POCO. This is MIUI 12, and more recently it updated to MIUI 12.5, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it upgrade further to the next version of MIUI. Now, the POCO M3 has a decent main camera. It's a 48 megapixel sensor, which delivers good results. It also has a couple of sticker cameras, like our friend Miriam calls them, which are 2 megapixel sensors. There's a couple of them. One is admittedly a macro sensor, which is pretty much useless, and the other one, on the other hand, is a depth sensor. I wasn't too impressed by the portrait pictures the POCO M3 took, but this isn't a device that sells itself as a mid-range or flagship device in terms of photography. But in its price category, remembering who it's competing against, it takes very, very good pictures, and pretty decent pictures in low light as well. Sadly, there's no wide-angle lens. So overall, is the POCO M3 for you? As long as you bear in mind that it's not the best camera phone, and that it doesn't have NFC, I would say yes. Make sure you're aware of what you'll be using it for, and if NFC is not important to you and the camera is not the most important thing to you, definitely the POCO M3 is an excellent buy, even almost a year on from its release. The software updates from Xiaomi are regular, the overall performance has improved thanks to those software updates, and the overall setup is durable. But the POCO M3 overall is a great affordable device, and really puts some of the competition to shame, especially looking at Nokia. So that's everything from our long-term review from the POCO M3. If you'd like to ask more or know more, please do leave a comment in the section below. And more importantly, subscribe to the Tech Travel Geeks for our upcoming reviews and videos on consumer electronics that we believe make the travel experience better. For now, thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Back to the cat. Back to the cat. Oh, look at that tummy.